Hello my motor enthusiasts.
Hello Enzo, why is the F1 scene so tense these days?
Well William, the FIA has approved a new team, Andretti, to join Formula 1. But it's not all cheers and applause, I'm afraid.
Really? Why the muted response?
The FOM, the commercial side of the sport, has been surprisingly silent about it. Even the existing teams are quiet, which is peculiar given their usual outspoken nature.
That's quite unusual. Any idea what's causing this divide?
Since Mohammed Ben Sulayem took over as president of the FIA, relations between FIA and FOM have been strained. And this situation with the new team's entry is only adding fuel to the fire.
Sounds a bit of a mess, doesn't it?
Indeed, William. The existing teams are worried about their share of funds from FOM being diluted with a new entrant. And then there's the question of whether FOM can even prevent Andretti from joining the sport.
Blimey, quite a bit of drama there.
Hey everyone. You're listening to your man Enzo.
And this is William, your trusty commentator.
We're here every day, bringing you the latest from the world of Formula 1 on Channel F1 Motor Fever podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Now, let's put the pedal to the metal. So, what all this boils down to is a widening chasm between the FIA and FOM.
Interesting. You mean the FIA's approval of the new team hasn't been well received by FOM?
That's right. There's been a conspicuous silence from FOM. Even the existing teams haven't posted anything about this approval. Very peculiar, I must say.
But why the silence? This should be good news, shouldn't it?
In an ideal world, yes. But since Mohammed Ben Sulayem took over as the FIA president, he's been making significant changes to the governance of F1 and control of race weekends. It's ruffled quite a few feathers.
So, there's a bit of a power struggle then?
Seems so. The existing teams and F1 bosses aren't too thrilled about the shake-up or a new team joining the sport.
So, what's next? Is FOM going to reject the new team's entry?
Time will tell. They have acknowledged the FIA's decision, but they've also stated that they'll conduct their own assessment. We're certainly in for some unprecedented drama. Moving on, the question remains whether FOM can actually prevent Andretti from joining.
From what you've said before, one would think FOM does hold some power. But you seem to suggest otherwise.
Well, the FIA has ensured a rigorous process. Ben Sulayem's approach was designed to prevent possible legal challenges under EU anti-competition legislation. So, it's unlikely FOM can outright reject the application.
Can you give us an example of what such a legal challenge might entail?
Imagine a scenario where a prospective team, let's say Team X, has been approved by the FIA, but is then rejected by FOM. In such a situation, Team X might argue that it's being unfairly blocked from entering the sport, thus violating anti-competition laws. They could then take the matter to court.
I see. What can FOM do then?
What FOM can do is drag out the commercial discussions with Andretti and the current teams regarding the new remuneration process. Historically, existing teams have objected to new entries, fearing a diluted proportion of funds from FOM.
And how long might these discussions take? A year? 2?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It could potentially drag on until Andretti's stated intention to be ready for the 2025 season is jeopardized.
So, 2025 is a crucial year then?
Indeed, it is. The current Concord Agreement states that the audit dilution entry fee for a new team is. Many F1 bosses have suggested this fee will increase significantly from 2026 onwards. This could become a hurdle for Andretti.
But isn't there legislation separating the regulatory and commercial functions in Formula 1?
Correct. Following EU intervention during the reigns of Max Mosley and Bernie Ecclestone, the FIA now handles regulatory matters while FOM takes care of commercial ones. This separation is meant to guarantee access to motorsport to any person or entity meeting safety and fairness criteria. To add more context to our discussion, the FIA's sporting regulations state that all applications to join F1 will be studied by the FIA and accepted, or rejected at its absolute discretion.
So, FOM really doesn't have the power to reject Andretti outright?
Correct. They could potentially drag the process out, but outright rejection seems unlikely. There's also a historical precedent for these negotiations not requiring an extended period. For instance, back in 2010, 3 teams were admitted and Brawn had only weeks to register his teams before the season began.
But from what you've said, it sounds like FOM isn't entirely powerless in this situation.
That's true. they might attempt to drag out the negotiations until June 1, 2024, after which Andretti must be registered as a competitor. However, dragging out the process could lead to a potential farce instead of celebrating a new team joining F1.
And what about the potential lawsuits and the prospect of Andretti being rejected from the commercial process until 2026?
Well, that's a possibility too. Ultimately, FOM needs to accept the fait accompli, find a commercial solution quickly, and let the teams contest the prize money for the 2026 season and beyond. It's clear that the fans, at least judging by social media, want more teams and drivers in Formula One. William, any juicy tidbits from the world of social media?
As it happens, there's a bit of a debate going on. User Vanagan has posted, quote, "Official, Andretti is the only new team application approved by the FIA. Will now be referred to FOM for commercial discussions," unquote.
Oh, that's sure to have stirred the pot.
Indeed it has. User NBR33ZE responded, quote, "In the last 10 years has there really been a more ideal possible entrant than Andretti? They have decades of motorsport background, a huge manufacturer backing, and some pretty solid and actual legit financial partners. I really see no reason why they shouldn't be on the grid," unquote.
A fair point. Any counter-arguments?
Turbo Gombok chimed in, quote, "Dunno, feels like it's not a good fit, no shady oil sponsors, no scam or disguised tobacco companies backing them. Might be too legit for F1, unquote." This sparked quite the thread, with some amusing, shall we say, sponsorship suggestions from various users. Things like, Fire Andretti Credit Swiss Racing Team powered by BP, and Raytheon Andretti Racing.
That would certainly raise some eyebrows.
One user even joked, quote, "Let the might of the American military-industrial complex bear down upon F1, unquote."
Sounds like a bit of a madhouse over there, William. Any other worthwhile comments?
Well, there's a bit of a debate surrounding potential evil US corporations as sponsors. Nestle, BlackRock, and Walmart were mentioned, to which user EatSleepJeep replied, quote, "You're too late, Walmart currently sponsors Red Bull Racing. BlackRock bought 20% of F1 in 2012. Monsanto owned a track in Portugal that F1 raced in 1959, unquote."
Well, there's a fun fact for you. BlackRock owning part of F1, who'd have thought? Seems like the internet's given us plenty to chew on this week. Well, that's a wrap. A big thank you to all our listeners tuning into F1 Motor Fever podcast. We've had quite the discussion today, delving into the complexities of Andretti's application to enter Formula One, and even taking a little detour into the world of social media commentary. Remember, your support makes all the difference to us. So, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss a beat.
And if you've enjoyed today's program, why not share the love? Tell your mates about us, share our episodes on your socials, and hey, maybe even bring us up at your next family dinner. Who knows, we might just convert your nan into an F1 fan. Oh, and don't forget to tune in daily, we've got plenty more where this came from.
Absolutely, we're always excited to bring you more insightful, and occasionally amusing, discussions. But for now, it's time for us to bid you adieu, until the next episode of F1 Motor Fever podcast.
So, whether you're listening at home, in the car, or while out on a run, thank you for bringing us along. We can't wait to join you on your next F1 journey. Enzo and William, pedal to the metal, keep your gaze on the road, our channel's content is pure gold.